Now, there are three other chords I want to give you that work synonymously with this particular scripture that says threefold chord is not quickly broken. It's your heart, your head, and your hand. The key to everything in the realm of manifestation boils down to your heart, your head, and your hand. It is the triune trifecta effect. But if you can master these three and keep them focused, keep them tied together, no weapon formed against you can prosper.
Hey, what's up, everybody? If you're watching this, tonight is our off Wednesday Bible study. What is an off Wednesday Bible study? Well, during the summer, during the month of June and July, I have created what I call a summer break schedule for our ministry so that our leaders, our core group, any of our most faithful members can get a little break during the summer to enjoy more time with their family, to just spend time cold maxing and relaxing, and really get the full benefit of 2 months of the summer before we go back in full force. So every other Wednesday, we're having Bible study. Every second and fourth Wednesday, we have Bible study in person at the church. Every other Wednesday, we have Bible study online. We post it on Facebook, YouTube, and the Band app. Now, tonight is the night that it's online and not in person. And I've asked one of our elders, Elder Angela Taylor, to teach this Bible study. Tonight, she's going to be asking a fundamental but very important question. What's keeping you from getting closer to God? What is keeping you from getting closer to God? Listen to the lesson that she's going to teach, and I'll be back on the end to tell you more about our ministry, and as always, give you that invitation to come join us in person every Sunday at 11 a.m. I look forward to seeing you at the end of this Bible study, and I look forward to seeing you at one of our services. But let's listen to Elder Angela Taylor ask the question, what's keeping you from getting closer to God?
Good evening. What is keeping you from getting closer to God? Is it you're too busy? Is it, well, I work a lot. Is it that, well, my children have a lot of activities. I'm ripping and running. I can't get in my word like I want to, or I don't have time to come to church. Well, Bible study, well, that's during the week, and I got so many things going on. I pray when I can. I'm gonna ask you, what is your gap? Those things sound like a gap. Sound like we have a lot of things going on that's keeping us from getting here. This is us. This is God. This is that opening space right there. That's the gap. What is your gap? Gap is an opening between two things. Whether it be relationships, it could be your health, it could be your finances, it could be anything that has a wedge between you and it. That's a gap. Some people have gaps in the teeth. I do. Some people have gaps in their fences where they have a fence and they have an opening that they got to fix. They have a gap there. Well, we're talking about the gap that's in our life that is keeping us from getting closer to God. Let's start with the letter G. Gossip. How many of us, tell the truth, you've been a gossiper in your day? or you still gossip? Well, gossip, not so good. Especially when it is pertaining to something other than God. We're gossiping about other people's business. That's not our business. I've been told to mind the business that you own. Gossip can't play a part in that. Proverbs 16:28 says, a perverse man stirs up dissension, and a gossip separates close friends. First of all, it says a perverse man. That's man or woman. Perverse means dishonest, wicked, corrupt, incorrect, improper. We already done messed up with that. A dishonest man or woman gossiping. And says that person causes dissension. Dissension meaning division, friction, conflict. Now tell me, isn't that a gap? That person or persons said something. They coming. Girl, let me tell you about such and such and such. Child, what going on? You know she's such and such. She did what you say. Then that person that you told takes that to somebody else. And they begin to gossip about that person. Not knowing the person that brought the information, messy, improper, wicked, dishonest, and has caused a gap between that person. That was a relationship supposedly they had, but now there's a gap. The same way we're down here gossiping about something that does not matter, other people's business, when we should be gossiping about the good news of the Lord, telling somebody about how he has saved us in the midst of our mess, how he has brought us. Gossip, a gap that's keeping us from the Creator himself. Why? Is because we choose to be dishonest and we choose to cause division. Because in anything, you already know, if you're gossiping about something and it is not of a good report that you're gossiping about, you're causing confusion. You're causing problems where there should not be, and you have caused a gap. And that right there, my sisters and brothers, keeps us from getting closer to God, because he doesn't like a gossiper. We're causing confusion. We are told to love one another, not harm one another. We're going to move on. Guilt. That's another gap we have. Guilt, a feeling of deserving blame for offenses, a feeling of responsibility for wrongdoing. In Ephesians 1:7-8, it says, in him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, in accordance with the riches of God's grace that he lavished on us with all wisdom and understanding. A lot of times we bring about a gap with our Father because we are so consumed with whatever it is that we've done, we won't let it go. He has forgiven us, but we haven't forgiven ourselves. We are still harboring on things that we did 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago that God has forgotten all about, but yet we are still holding on to it because we feel undeserving of his forgiveness. But why? But why would we continue to beat ourselves up about something that is over with and done, have moved on? If it was with another person, and if that person has forgiven you, why haven't you forgiven yourself? You have caused a wedge between you and the Creator because you are carrying on weights that you should not be carrying. He has redeemed us. And in him we have redemption through his blood. Through his blood, Jesus has redeemed us. The forgiveness of sins. We've been forgiven. So guilt in families. Guilt in families. Those family secrets that we knew about, we didn't tell anybody about. And we are still holding on to that guilt. That causes a weight on us until we get so consumed with, I'll never be forgiven for this. The Lord never, and in his word, it says that we have been forgiven. We have been redeemed through his blood. There's no longer a need to continue to punish and beat yourself up about something that we have already been forgiven for. Just like relationships. We feel guilty about a relationship. The relationship didn't go well. Well, it just, sometimes things happen. And we all have a season. And it was a season for that relationship. That relationship wasn't meant to carry on. It was meant to end there because of your time being wasted in a situation that wasn't gonna benefit you or that person, but you are upset about it because you want to know why and what you think that you can still do to try to make this relationship work. Sweetheart, let it go. Let it go. That's not for you to be consumed with. Guilt of a relationship failing. Let it go. Let go. And let God. That's a gap. That's why you cannot get what you need to get from him. Get closer to him because you're holding on to something that's creating a barrier between you and him. Let it go. Bills. That's another one. We feel guilty because we can't pay our bills. Well, I used to be there. Bills couldn't pay. I just have a fallout moment. Just get so miserable and so upset about it. Lord, what we gonna do? I just feel guilty about, I'm grown. Why I can't pay my bills like I'm supposed to? Why I can't pay my bills up? Why am I always behind? Just felt bad. What kind of example am I setting for my kids, Lord? I don't want them to be like this. And then the Lord, why are you doing this? If you trust in me, why are you going to hold yourself? Are you holding yourself so tightly and so hard and so guilt bound about not being able to pay your bills when you're doing what you're supposed to do? You're being faithful to me. So you don't have faith in me that I'm going to take care of what you need? Really? Guilt. Something that will take us down to the ground if we allow it to. But we have to let it go because we have been forgiven and we have been redeemed through his blood. We're going to go to the letter A. Anger. Now with guilt, some of us, we go through a transitioning moment from being weighed down, feeling so guilty about the things of life. Then we just get angry. That's when that anger sets in. Anger can hurt a whole lot of people, even the people you love. You don't want that, but that's a gap. That's another gap that keeps us from getting closer to God, because we are getting a space where God can't get in. God don't deal in anger. God deals in love and peace and joy and hope. But anger, in James 1:19 through 20, it says, everyone should be quick to listen. That's why we got two of these. Quick to listen. Slow to speak. And slow to become angry. For man's anger does not bring about the righteous life that God desires. God does not desire for us to be upset, to get to a place where we're just all out of sorts. We don't know which way we're going, which way are we coming, because we are angry. About what? Angry about life? Okay, life happens to everybody. You cannot change something that is not meant for you to change. For instance, you have a family member, going back to family. Now I'm just going to speak on me. Transparent moment. I have a family member that I love very dearly. And I've been speaking with them for a long time now about coming to church. And like I told them, it's all about what's in your heart. It has nothing to do with anybody else. We were raised in the church, so we know about God. We know about Jesus, and we know about the Holy Spirit. But I've been talking to this person talks bad about the church people, and especially the pastors. All they want is your money. That's all they want. That's all they want. They're just money hungry. So I begin to tell them about my pastor. I don't know about that, because from what I know, all of them, all they want is money. I said, but see, you don't know all of them. You don't know all of them. But he's so angry about the church because of instances which he has no control over. And he has put all churches, all pastors in one bucket. And he's just mad. And when you start talking to him about the church, he just flips. Angry. Won't listen. Definitely ain't slow to speak, because soon as you say something, he popping off. But I had to learn, because he had began to anger me. And I had to say, you know what? I'm not going to even go there, because I am not going to allow you to have me in a position where I'm going to my daddy to apologize for something that I've said to you in the midst of me getting upset about something that you have no clue about. So I had to let that instance go, because anger will take you to a place and drop you off. But then once you calm down and realize that, oh my God, I just went there. You know that's not of God, because God is not going to have you to get to that place. He's going to calm you. That's why you have to be quick to listen, but slow to speak. When you get upset, you got to be slow to speak, just like if you get upset with your children. Plenty of instances on that. And they have made you upset. My baby boy, Lord have mercy, when he was going to school, if I didn't want to choke that little boy out, but I know that I had to get myself together, because I would have hurt him in the midst of me being angry. I had to calm myself, like, Lord, I need your peace to settle over my life, because I'm about to do something crazy. And that's what it is. You have to be quick to listen. And I'm so glad I know his voice when he speaks to his child, so he can bring me down to a level where I know that only he can. Because you have people that have, in the midst of just getting up here, have killed people. People have been hurt by people getting angry. And we have to realize that that is not the way. That's a gap. That's a gap between us and the Father. There's no way we can get close to him if we are angry. He don't dwell in anger. He doesn't dwell in anger. So we have to be quick to listen. When when you get to that point, if you got someone there that's of reason, that can talk with you to let you know it's going to be okay, just calm down. Take a deep breath. Know that God is with you. He'll never leave you. He'll never forsake you. Just hold on. Hang on in there. It's going to be all right. Then you have a woo-saw moment. And then you're able to hear somebody. Anger. Now we're going to go to the P. And we're going to talk about pressures. Pressures of this world. We're talking about, it could be family pressure. It could be relationships. It could be, again, your bills. It could be your health. It could just be life in general. Proverbs 4:14 says, do not set foot on the path of the wicked, or walk in the way of evil men. Now we're talking about pressures. Peer pressure is another one, and that's a good one. Our young people are going through some things in life now that back when I was young, I did not have to deal with. But today, they got some things that they are dealing with. I'm talking about early age, 8 and 9 years old. We were just talking to a friend of ours and about young people. Young people have a little group. These are 9-year-olds. They got a little group and got little boys in there talking about little sex toys and different things. These are 9-year-olds. But see, back then, them cell phones like they are today, oh no. We didn't have those. You had outside playing kickball, making you up some games, playing in the water, whatever you, listen, we were doing children things. But nowadays, these children got so many pressures until it's ridiculous. The same way with adults. We have pressures. We allow things to pressure us to keep us from getting closer to the Father. What is it? Our jobs. Our jobs keep us from getting closer to God. You know how that is? Because you get that job and they make you work on Wednesdays and Sundays. And you can't come to church. You can't fellowship with like-minded believers. Then you have relationships that keep you from getting closer to God. How is that? We think about it. You love to go to church, but your mate doesn't. So now we have a conflict of interest. Well, I'm going to church. Would you like to come and go with me? No. But if you love me, you'll stay home with me. A gap. You have this person don't care about getting close. And now he's trying, or she's trying, to keep you from getting close. We talk about our health. We go through transitions in life, and our health begins to break down. You know, we moving a little slower as you get older. And then you allow that to keep you from getting closer to God. How is that? Well, I didn't feel well today, so I'm not coming to church. I'm not going to be able to make it. I had my back was aching a little bit. I'm going to take me a little something and I'm going to lay down. I will see you all next Sunday. But your back is hurting, and when Monday morning come and you have to go to that job, that gap begin to widen. Because why? Well, God, I thank you for waking me up, but I got to go to work. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to church. My back was bothering me. Your back is bothering you on Monday, but you're on that job. That's a gap. That's a gap. We oftentimes allow other things in life to keep us from getting closer to Him, and I don't understand why. But for me, I had a situation where I was allowed a gap to happen in my life. And transparent moment, about 17, 18 years ago, my husband retired from the military. He did 20 years and he retired, and we came on back to Georgia. And the first gap was us having to go and live with my parents. Have mercy and Jesus. Woo! But I thank God I made it. But anyway, we moved home, and Andre said he was going to take him some time off. My husband. Going to take him some time off, and just wanted to rest, just hang out a little bit. Cool. So, as time went on, about 4 months into his retirement, a shift began to happen. Like I said, I've been in church all my life, and I know God, and I love Him. But I don't think my relationship was as close as it should have been, because this gap happened. So about the 4th month, it was a large shift that happened in our marriage. And he began to stay out and, drank a lot. And I asked him, I'm like, is everything okay? You all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Okay. So this was started to be every day. And I began to feel guilty Because I'm thinking, okay, what am I doing or not doing to cause my husband to want to hang out and drink all the time? And then when I went from feeling guilty about me not doing what I needed to do, I became angry. And I was angry with him because I just couldn't believe that he has allowed the pressures of life, because that's what I'm going to say it was, to cause him to lose sight of the very one who created him, the very one who saved him, and the Holy Spirit which dwells with us to comfort him, keep him, and guide him in all these different situations. So at this point now, I'm angry. And so one night he came in. He was sloppy drunk. And any alcoholics or any people that drink a lot, you know what I'm talking about. He was drunk. They bring him in and laid him on my parents' floor. At the time, they turned their living room into a bedroom for us. Humbling. And they brought him in. So when they brought him in, they laid him on the floor, and I told him thank you, that they brought him home safely. And so at this point now, I'm no longer seeing straight. I'm not thinking straight. I'm not listening. I'm not hearing anything. All I know is what I'm feeling, and it's not good. So the children were there, and so our son, middle son, went to help his father up to put him on the bed, and he pushed him. And I told him, I said, just leave him alone. Your mama gonna take care of him. And my son said, as they were walking out, because I told him, don't worry, I'm going to take care of your father. You all go on and go to bed. And as my son was walking out the door, and he was closing it behind him, he said these words to me. He said, Mama, don't hurt our daddy. And I just looked at him, and he said it again. He said, Mama, don't hurt our daddy. I said, I got him, baby. It's okay. So as they went out and he closed the door, in the room that we were sleeping in, and I'm going to get finished before I boo-hoo cry. It was a fireplace, and it's made out of bricks. And it's an area, they made it wide enough so you could sit around the fireplace during the wintertime. And on one of the corners, it was a sharp point on one of the corners. And I'm so angry, I'm enraged. I'm not hearing nothing. All I'm seeing is I have a drunk individual on the floor that's supposed to be my husband. This is my children's father. That's been drinking and drinking and drinking, and I don't know what to do. I think I was praying, but I misstepped somewhere. And where's the gap? It was a gap. And I'm cutting it short because during this time, me and Andre, we were walking past each other like ships in the night. We were like ghosts. We weren't speaking, but I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was doing everything but I wasn't communicating. He didn't have nothing to say. I didn't have anything to say. So back to the climax of it. So that night, after that, he had pushed my son. I straddled his back. He was drunk. There was nothing he could do. He was lifeless, merciless. He was at my mercy. Mine. And I was at my wit's end, and that was it for me. That was it for me. So, you're going to disrespect me in my parents' home and disrespect our children. Then I'm going to hurt you. I'm just that angry. So I took my husband's head and I drug his body right there to the very edge of that brick fireplace. And as I took his head and I was getting ready to bust his temple open on that brick, God said to me, is he worth it? And at this moment, I'm beginning to hear something, but I don't know what it is. And I just shook it out. And I said, before I allow you to hurt us anymore, I'm going to take you out your misery. And as I went to do it, God said, is he worth it? And I looked and I just dropped it. And I said, yes, Lord, he is. But I don't know what's wrong. Is he worth it? That's all he kept saying to me. As I began to come down from my angry position, because I was in the position to destroy a whole lot of lives, including my own. But he is worth it. And he was. The gap that was created between myself and my husband, God stepped in. He stepped in and he spoke to his child in the midst of my angry state. He spoke to me. And I want to tell you, in the midst of that, I prayed, I fell on my face and asked for forgiveness because I had created a gap between him and myself. In the midst of life and life precious, I had put those things before him and I caused the gap that was created. Once my beings got past that, and I realized that we need to go to the gap closer. And the gap closer is Jesus. In John 14:6, Jesus answered, he said, I am the way, I am the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. He is our bridge. He is the bridge that will allow us to travel over to get closer to our Father. He can turn your guilt into gladness. He can turn anger into adoration. And he can definitely turn pressure into peace. Let's close the gap. Let's close the gap and begin to rap with the gap closer himself, and his name is Jesus. Thank you. I pray your strength in the Lord, and I pray something said this evening will bless you all. I love you. God bless.
What's keeping you from getting closer to God? As you've heard, we can come up with a myriad of excuses. But if the truth be told, and the truth is seldomly told, oftentimes those excuses are nothing more than well-created lies. Through this Bible study that Elder Angela Taylor has taught, I hope that you will be encouraged, inspired, and motivated to move in a direction that cultivates a closer relationship with God Himself. He desires that from you, and I want you to know that it could be the best decision of your life. If you're in the Warner Robins, Georgia area on Sundays, and when I say area, I mean anywhere within a 100-mile radius, because people are driving from the north, south, east, and west, I kid you not, to experience church at Freedom Church. We're there every Sunday at 11 a.m. Service starts promptly at 11 a.m. and our Sunday services last about 75 minutes, sometimes less. It's a well-designed service. The presence of God is obvious. The power of God is visible. The fellowship of people is powerful. You'll be amazed at how much God moves in a 75-minute span on Sunday morning, and your life is literally transformed and impacted in a way that's positive. So join us this Sunday at 11 a.m. We're there every Sunday at 11 a.m. And then you can also join us on Wednesdays. Now remember, during the summer 2021, the month of June and the month of July, we're having Bible study every second and fourth Wednesday in person, and every other Wednesday we pre-record it and post it online via social media like Facebook, YouTube, and our church group app called the Band app. Well, listen, I know you've been blessed by this Bible study tonight, and I look forward to seeing you at one of our services real soon. God bless you.